Something I started last year was a giant compost pile. I say giant, it's like giant for the urban backyard. But I am making sure that I collect all of the food scraps that we don't use. I throw them in a pile out here. I throw a ton of leaves on top to try to contain any smell that comes from them. And one thing that's really awesome is we have pumpkin plant. It's this one right here. This pumpkin plant sprouted. It's huge, it's gorgeous, it's living and thriving. It is a male, so it's not giving off any pumpkins, but the soil that's around this pumpkin plant is the soil from last year's pile I started, and it's amazing. And I've actually started using it in my garden. I just used it when I planted the cucumber plant that I recently purchased. And this cucumber plant, it's really hot, so it's kind of at the end of its season, but it's already sprouting flowers, and I'm hoping it's going to give me some cucumbers, and I'm really attributing it to this really healthy soil that I created. So one thing I have to do today, that dining room table is covered in potatoes. It's all the potatoes we got for free, and I'm so gracious and grateful for it, but I'm not eating them all as fast as we thought we would, and some of them have gotten squishy and are no longer valid. So I'm throwing them out here in the compost pile along with my compost, and I'm doing something with my time and making something that's going to help me in the future. When it comes to composting, there's a lot of rules and a lot of suggestions and a lot of recommendations. And the main substance to composting is there's a passive and an active compost. An active compost is the one where you're following those rules. You know your concentration of greens and browns and you're flipping it regularly, whereas a passive compost is you're throwing it in a pile and you're letting nature just do what it does. I am working the passive compost. I'm throwing it in a pile, I'm letting nature do what it does, and so far it's working. It worked from last year, so I'm sure it's going to continue to work going forward. I want to express that doing research, of course, is always important, but just doing something is always better than doing nothing.